Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Authentic Info Podcast. I'm your host, Adma Sandechak. The EFF have decided to go and picket and show their solidarity with Palestine in the embassy or in front of the embassy of Israel, trying to display its position when it comes to the war that is transpiring between the two nations, that they support the people of Palestine and they believe that the people of Palestine needs to be supported by countries like South Africa, and they know and they see that there are companies associated with Israel and they want to declare war against those companies, but they're giving them a chance to give statements as to what are their positions when it comes to what is transpiring in between Palestine and Israel, because there is information that they received that a company like McDonald's is financing the soldiers, or it is financing the Israelites because they are giving them foods and other aid. So they want to ensure that McDonald's in South Africa is not part of that, and it must come clean through its statement that it has to issue to give its position when it comes to that, and this must be done in public. They also encouraged all South Africans to make sure that they disassociate themselves with shops or retailers like your Woolworths, because they believe that these retailers are supporting and financing the revolution of Israel. And they said that if the EFF takes power in 2024, they are not going to support Palestine through words, but they are going to give the people of Palestine the necessary ammunition, the necessary equipment to fight the war that they are faced with, because they support the people of Palestine, and they don't want to do that through words and protests, but they want to be actively involved, because they know that even the struggle in South Africa was financed by people from abroad, even white people in South Africa who did not agree with the inhumane treatment of black people. And they did not only support this through words, but they were actively involved. For example, you mentioned Cuba, that Cuba released its own doctors, released its own funds to finance the revolution, to finance the camps where the MK were training to come and liberate South Africa using a gun, because time of negotiation was over and it was not materializing. So we mentioned the countries, that there are a lot of countries who believed that South Africa should be liberated, and in doing such, they had to be actively involved. People of business had to release funds. He even mentioned the Nigerians to say there were employees who were taking certain percentages from their salaries to finance the revolution in South Africa. And he says that it will be an embarrassment if South Africans do not take part and decide to be neutral in what is happening between Israel and Palestine. So now my question is Julius Malema trying to come back to show us his other side of politics? We know that he is someone who has been involved recently in negotiations, in using all the proper procedures that are there to try and challenge ideas and to try to come with solutions to the problems faced by people in South Africa and even in Africa. But other than that, there is another side of Julius Malema, the Julius Malema of protests, the Julius Malema of strikes, the Julius Malema who takes things by force, the Julius Malema was active on the ground, leading the ground forces. And when he says that these companies that are said to be associated with the Israel revolution, they must come out clear and they must make statements. And if they don't do so, he's going to meet them on the ground. We know what happened to the likes of Clicks. We know what happened to a lot of other establishments when he entered the political arena. He used to hold them accountable and he used to close shops until they account to whatever issues that they had to account for. We know what happened to H&M. We know what happened to a lot of other bigger establishments, your ShopRites and the likes. So if he mentions shops like your Woolworths, if he mentions restaurants like your McDonald's, we know what he's capable of. And if they don't comply, if they don't release these statements, we know what Malema can do, and we know that it might affect them badly. And I believe that they are going to refer to his type of politicking, which he has not displayed for quite some time. And when he says that he's going to close that embassy of Israel, I think he shouldn't be taken for granted. He is more than capable. He has the numbers on the ground. He has people who listen to him and who can execute whenever he might give directions otherwise. And he is not someone who will just send people to go and do wrong things or to go into a struggle that he will not form part of. He will be there on the ground. He will be there in the forefront if needs be that the embassy of Israel is closed in South Africa, because he says that he challenges all the people who do not support what Israel is doing. He challenges them to always go into the embassy of Israel in their states to make sure that everything that they report, which is political, every morning to Israel, it must be that the people are showing resistance. The people are doing a protest in front of our offices in all embassies around the world, in all the offices of Israel, in all other countries where it exists. He challenges people to make sure that they always visit those offices to show their position, to show that they do not agree with what Israel is doing to the people of Palestine. And he says that even our president is undecisive when it comes to what is happening there, because he says that he tried to be in solidarity through character when he went to meet with the NEC, and he had to give a statement to his bosses because he is someone who is undecisive, and he believes that his handlers are the people who support the struggle of Israel and not that of Palestine. That is why the president had to come out and give his position in terms of his attire and things like that. So are we going to see the Julius Malema of protests, the Julius Malema who closed shop, the Julius Malema who leads the ground forces on the ground? Because recently he's more into office work. When he goes to the ground, he just give addresses and things like that. The EFF is it's becoming more professional now than before, because the EFF was always leading different protests, march and things like that. But these days, they engage more than being on the ground, using force to get whatever they want or to push a certain narrative. This is Authentic Info Podcast. I'm your host, Admire Sandile Chawuk. Let's continue to grow together. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell so that when I post, you get to be notified. Thank you.